Today on Q&J, Nurgle Gods, ads, and more. Q and J. Hey everyone, welcome to another Q&J. As always, my name is Jay, and it's time to J some Qs. You guys left me some comments. Now, last week, I asked you guys the question at the end of my video, what did you think about ads? Because I've noticed several of the better and more popular YouTubers in our niche are starting to use ads more frequently in their videos, like every 7 minutes or every 10 minutes in videos. And they can get quite numerous, and in my opinion, a little annoying. But it's their opinion. You know, if they want to do it, obviously they make more money per video. So I asked you guys, what did you think, and girls obviously. But and the overall reception was less is more, and I appreciate that. You know, once every half an hour, people were saying was good. 7 minutes can be quite annoying. So I respect that. You know what? I'm not going to try to make a little bit more per video by annoying the crap out of you people. So that's good. I'll probably stick one in the middle of each longer video and before and after ads, and that's it. That's cool. Thank you very much for the feedback. I really do appreciate it, and I'm going to obviously abide by it. So that's cool. So we'll start in the comments. Now, once again, if I miss your comment, I am super sorry. I don't mean to miss any comments. My goal is to answer all of them. Yes. And so if I didn't answer them, I'm very sorry. It wasn't intentional. But we'll begin. Also, if your comment for last week was about the ads, I may not address it personally because I did read it and I did take it into consideration when making a decision about my ads and videos. Yes. So let's begin. So C Woods says, "Hi Jay, big fan. Thank you very much. And I hope one day you will come to England and come to Warhammer World and have a game or to dude. Would be really fun." I agree. That would be awesome. I would love to go down to Warhammer World. For sure. It's, as I said, it's kind of like the mecca of 40K. So, definitely. Plus, because of you, I have started an orc army. Thank you. So, can you give me some info on making a fun list? Thanks. Fun lists, pretty much any orky list can be fun. I wouldn't recommend, like, not bikers. More models to me is more fun with orcs. More models. Morkanot is always fun. I always have fun using him. If you want a fun, like Weird Boy, like things with random powers. Psychic powers are usually fun, especially with the orc psychic powers. Weird Boys are fun. Shock attack guns are fun because they can be just hilariously random. And I'd take things like zap guns. You know, anything with random is usually the more fun options with orcs. Thank you very much for your comment, and I want to go to. I really do want to go to Warhammer World. It'd be amazing. Definitely amazing. What other things? Fun, yeah. Tons of boys. I just love hoarding. You know, fielding tons of boys to me is fun. They run across the field. Sometimes they die. Sometimes they don't. Things with blasts. You know, always fun with those. The Lads Lounge says, was really surprised to see the Grey Knight Codex out next. I know. It was like wham, bam, 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 bam. I was guessing it had something to do with Matt Ward, personally. But since Kirby left, they are probably trying to throw his stuff out, so it'll probably be Necrons next. Yes, Necrons or Dark Eldar. It could be Necrons, but could be Dark Eldar. And it seems like it's going to be fast. Since what I've seen of Grey Knights, they're almost a copy and paste with some slimlining. Yeah, it's Grey Knights minus the Assassins and the Inquisition. But there were changes. You know, something's got more expensive, something's got cheaper. Obviously, the models the characters that didn't have models got removed. And for a full review, check out my review on the new Grey Knight Codex. Overall, I think it's not bad at all. I think it's going to be good. Just started playing Space Wolves. Never been interested in Marines before, but Wolves got me interested. Question, Thunderwolf Cavalry or a Venerable Dreadnought with a Tech Marine following around? I like Thunderwolf Cavalry. They close the gap faster than anything in the game, and they are nasty. And then you get painting Wolves. And the Wolf models, to me, they're actually my favorite. They're probably my favorite model. The Thunderwolf Cavalry, yeah, it's my favorite model for the Space Wolves Codex to begin with, and they have amazing rules, so I like them. Man, things are so different since I started in like 2nd or 3rd edition. I know, and then stopped just before 5th. I think when Grey Knights, we still quite new called Demon Hunters instead. Yes, they were called Demon Hunters. So yeah, cheers for being entertaining. Jay, love your stuff, and hope to see you in Wales at someday. That'd be cool. See, I got a plan, maybe, I don't know, maybe next year. I gotta see. I'm going to some conventions next year. I've already signed up for, I've already basically booked Gen Con and Adepticon again next year. I know Owen's wants to go to, what's the other one, con? It's in Rhode Island. Don't remember what it's called. There's a con in Rhode Island next year. I'm also going to Las Vegas. I might be in a Vegas con. Going to a Vegas con next year. We'll see. So I'm planning, but maybe next year. I think there might be time. Depends on the success of the warp, I guess, ultimately, in my videos. But if I can make some money, I can put aside and maybe go to Britain. That'd be kind of fun. Do a couple-week tour of Britain and go check out Warhammer World and Wales and stuff. That'd be amazing. That'd be cool. Yeah, I gotta start planning. Panda WTG says, do you know what edition the latest Necron Codex is for? Yes, 5th. It is one of the few remaining 5th edition codices. It is the last 5th edition codex before 6th edition. Right at the end of 5th, yep, Lad's Lounge says, Necrons are the last codex of 5th edition as Jubble Idiot. Jubble Idiot? I think his name is? Huh. Jubble Idiot in France. En français. Oui. Scardcast! Hey, how's it going, Scardcast? It was fun playing with you. Hi Jay, question, do you want to come to Berry Bash tourney? I will be hosting in November. If so, I can send you the info. I'm definitely interested. Send me the information. If I can make it, I will gladly come. Definitely. It looks like a lot of fun. And I haven't been to a tournament in forever. Now the question is, what army do I bring? Ooh, that's a good question. Oh, we'll see. So yeah, send me info, Scarcast. Love to come. Jim White says, Jay, when do you give a thumbs up for a video? This is a very good question. In fact, I read this one and I was like, very good question, Jim White. Do you give it to encourage good work, or does it have to be very good? No, I do it to encourage good work. It doesn't have to be top of the line. Sometimes, many a time, I will see a relatively new YouTuber, especially in our niche, and I give thumbs up if I like their content. Just as simple as that. You know, if I want to encourage their content, I give it a thumbs up. You know, I don't think you have to be top of the line to get thumbs up. Just to encourage, you know, send them on the right path. And that's what I do a lot of the time too. I look at the thumbs up and thumbs down ratios of various things, and I try to get a gauge of what people like, what people don't like. What would you give a thumbs down for besides to tease Owen? That's true. Now, for those who don't know, I used to let Owen, I started this funny trend that every time I was a part of Owen's live show, like if I was watching it, I'd thumbs down it. Just to see his reaction. I don't thumbs down a lot of content, to be honest. Instead of thumbing, I just don't thumbs up it if I don't like it. Thumbs down would be, I have thumbs down videos that were intentionally like against me. That was kind of rude, but I know what they. That's it. I don't really thumbs down many videos. I really don't. I just don't thumbs up it. What would I thumbs down it? Oh, no, sorry. I do know what I thumbs down. I hate it when people just try to make a video to grab your attention, but the title, right, it's like, I don't know, monkey eats cow, right? I'm just coming off the top of my head. Monkey eats cow. And then you go to the video, and it has nothing to do with the monkey eating a cow, or it's about a monkey's about to eat the cow, and then it stops, and then you're like, what's the point? You know, I hate it. I like it when videos are true to their title. And I hate it when people just put a title to grab your attention and there's nothing in the video that has to do with it. You know, it's not very honest. It's not an honest video. And I know some people out there are just trying to make, you know, quick bucks off YouTube. You get as many views on a single video as possible, but that's not my style. I like my videos to be about, you know, the title's about the video. And I don't like that. So I thumbs down those videos. Yeah. Now for a trolling question. Ooh, Jim White. Which out-of-production troll miniature would you love to paint? Out-of-production troll miniature. I don't know. What do you mean by out-of-production troll miniature? I don't know. I love the Troll Bloods, personally, for the one miniature I've always wanted to paint for the Troll Bloods faction of like, hordes is Borka 2. And I recently picked up Borka 2 at the convention because Borka is on a polar bear. Besides that, I would love to paint the Mountain King for Troll Bloods. Hey, Mountain King's amazing. To me, it's probably the best overlooking model, or best overall looking model in Hordes, in my opinion. I think it's just amazing. I want to paint him up. He looks great. Daniel Van Gool says, "Hey Jay, greetings from South Africa." South Africa's cool. When are you going to get an Imperial Knight? That is a good question. Eventually. It is on my list of things I would love to buy. But before that, I would like to flesh out my Grey Knight army. I'd like to get some more models for my Grey Knight army because I know how limiting my lists are, especially for the new codex. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more Marines in the near future. I just painted up a Land Raider, a Dread Knight, a couple tanks, you know. And then eventually, yeah, I'd love to get an Imperial Knight. They're really cool. Eventually, I'd like a 4 Imperial Knight army, 1,500 points, or it's like 1,500 points for four of them, I think. And that's my list. If you kill it, you kill it. If you don't, you don't. Have fun. You know, it'd be kind of a fun list to bring. Dr. Roctopus says, "Hey Jay, I was wondering whether or not the miniature ghost tints would be used in lieu of a glaze." You could. You actually can use them. Essentially, they are the airbrush equivalent of a glaze. Yeah. You know, slightly different formulaic design. Glazes are better designed to sit over things, but you could use... I've seen people actually use the ghost tints in lieu of glazes, so you can. But glazes will dry a lot quicker and not as shiny. So it's up to you what you want to do with that. So if you do a ghost tint, you might have to varnish over it if you want to change the characteristics of the glaze. I.e., I start with my fist on red, highlight up to a bright orange, and then hit it with some fresh blood to bring it back to the red tone. You could. I've seen people do it, as I said. I've seen people use ghost tints many times, especially with the most frequent usage I've seen of ghost tints by hand is the plasma fluid. There's one called plasma fluid. It's by far my favorite color in the ghost tints range and the Minotaur range in general. And I've seen people use it frequently by hand to paint plasma guns and get the glow off it. So it's definitely possible. It just takes a lot longer to dry. And make sure to completely clean off your brush. Don't leave any residue on there because they will mess with your brushes sometimes. Thanks. No problem, Dr. Octopus. Martin Bernier says, "Hello, Jay." Hello. "Thank you, for I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see your videos on how to play 40K. Thank you very much. Oh, by the way, I've mentioned this in the videos. I know people have been like, where are the videos? Why'd you only do 2? The reason was the full story, as I mentioned in my last Q&J, was my next video is how to build a list. And I, perhaps foolishly, filmed using a lot of Grey Knight examples. And since then, the Grey Knights have changed. I used Drago in the example for an HQ slot. I used Paladins to bring as troops. And obviously these things are now false. And rather than putting out a video and then instantly it being wrong, I decided to wait until the new Grey Knight Codex. And now that it's out, I've refilmed it and it will be out again next week. I'm going to put out 1 video, maybe 2 a week, on Wednesdays, because that's the day that I typically do painting tutorials in the Warp, and I wanted something to fill that slot for free. Tuesdays I'm trying to get back to battle reports, Mondays are Miniature Painting 101, Thursdays are Let's Play with Jays, and Fridays is Q&J, and the occasional Ask Mandy. So, and there should be an Ask Mandy maybe today, we'll see. But, so I'm going to use those, it'll be on Wednesdays, and I'm going to keep doing them, and then after I run out of how to play 40K, I'm going to either, maybe near the end of it, I'm going to start putting in Tactica videos. I'm going to start filming Tactica videos. And my new green screen should be here next week, and I'm going to be super excited to have a green screen and some good lighting. And I'm going to do Tactica videos, probably starting with the oldest armies, because, or maybe I should start with the newest armies, but I haven't played the newest armies as much. I'll have to figure out which ones, because right now I have Grey Knights and Orcs, which are 7th edition, and then I have Dark Angels and Tyranids, which are late 6th and early 6th. So I don't know which one will be, you know, I think Dark Angels Tactica first, because I'm the most familiar with those rules, and then Tyranids, Grey Knights, and Orcs will be shortly afterwards, and I'll just do a whole tactical series on them. So that'll be my new Wednesdays. Thanks for answering my question last week on the Killicans, but I didn't get all of the information I wanted. What do you say? Could you explain when to use the rule of vehicles in close combat, saying that a glancing counts as 1 hull point and a penetrating counts as 2 hull points in close combat? Page 78 of the rulebook. Let me see, let me grab the rule book and we'll see about this. Okay, so now I have my book. Page 78. Now, I believe this is what you're referring to. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments section, but I'm pretty sure this is what you're referring to. It's under Assault Results. I think that's what you're referring to because I don't see 1 and 2s anywhere before Assault Results. Now, this specific section is referring to combat resolution to determine who won the combat. So for example, if you have a squad of 3 Killicans and they delve out, they kill 3 guys of your opponents, and then your opponent gets 2 pens on your Killicans, that's when it's telling you to refer to, at the end of a round of close combat against a vehicle, calculate the result. The assault result is normal, counting each glancing hit as 1 wound and each penetrating hit as 2 wounds. And that's the only time where I see what you're referring to on page 78. So basically what this means is, for every glancing hit in close combat your opponent does to you, that counts as 1 wound for combat resolution purposes. So if you kill 3 guys of his, and he gets 1 pen and 1 glance against you in that round of combat, it's a tied combat. Because 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 equals 3. But if they get 2 pens against you, 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 is higher than 3, your opponent won the combat. And that's what you're referring to. So Killicans will use this rule in close combat for combat resolution, but if your cans lose combat, nothing happens, because it says in the very next part, if the vehicle loses the combat or is destroyed, nothing happens. So there you go. So I hope this clarifies it. So if you're in close combat, it doesn't actually count for the pens of the vehicles, it just counts for combat resolution. Each glancing hit counts as 1 wound for combat resolution, and each pen counts as 2 wounds for combat resolution. Yes. So thank you very much for your question, Martin Bernier, and I hope we all learned something today. Now, if that wasn't what you were addressing, or people have anything to add, feel free to add that in the comment section down below of this video. The Warpsmith says, greetings once again, Jay. Just seeking your opinion. What subfaction, Warband, Chapel, Chapter, Cabal, etc., that does not already have a supplement, do you think deserves one of its own? Personally, I feel the Alpha Legion or Night Lords have been neglected heavily, as well as the Blood Ravens and Death Watch. I also, as always, enjoy your work. Thank you very much. Actually, a great comment. I was actually going to say, I love Night Lords. For Chaos, Night Lords, and Iron Warriors would be pretty cool. An Iron Warrior supplement. That'd be really awesome. Eldar, I would say Samhan, because Samhan is a very frequently played faction of Eldar, and them making their own rulebook would be awesome. Or a Laytok would be kind of cool. Like, any Eldar of the big groups could get their own supplement, and it'd be very successful. Plus, Eldar are a very good codex. And then Blood Ravens, exactly. So I don't mean to copy your answer, but for Space Marines, I would actually say Blood Ravens, because they have one of the most interesting backstories, and it would just be cool, because they did Sentinels of Terra for the Imperial Knights, or Imperial Fists, sorry. So Blood Ravens would be a good supplement. And then Sergeant Harker completely agrees with us and says, dude, Alpha Legion needs one like months ago. Alpha Legion would be amazing. You know, I would love to see an Alpha Legion supplement and give them just some flavor, because Alpha Legion, they're one of the more interesting factions to me of Chaos Space Marines. So, you know, they could have done so many cool rules. I mean, the fluff itself lends for some cool rules. As I said, also Iron Warriors would be kind of cool. Just a heavy weapons, you know. Infantry formation based on the redundant command structure. Maybe a few lightly outfitted Chaos Lords with a couple of, I suppose, bigger HQs on top of them. So killing one means little since there's 4 others. And it might be neat. Very good comment, Sergeant Harker. Thank you so much for leaving it. I completely agree. Alpha Legion, or yeah, your thing is, I love it. Your comment is my answer too, other than Iron Warriors. I'd add Iron Warriors, any Eldar faction, really. And because they have a lot of flavor. Like Sam Han would be the bikes and be really cool, interesting too. Chris LaBelle says, Jay, love your vlogs. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Actually, I might be doing vlogs, painting vlogs in the near future, but I like the Q&J. Also, finally thought up a good question. I play Salamanders, and I was wondering if you think Games Workshop should release a separate codex for them, or at least a supplement. No, because Salamanders are really covered in depth in the codex. As lends the previous question, before this specific codex came out, I could see them doing a supplement. But once the codex came out and they actually enveloped the Black Templar, I don't see them doing a supplement on Salamanders. It'd be really cool if they did. Again, like any supplement they put out will sell, because all the people who play that army will want to buy it. And salamanders are an amazing faction. So, but I don't see them doing a supplement anytime soon. I think it would be cool to see a separate codex supplement for each of the first founding chapters. Yeah, it's true. But that's what they're trying to do. I see them with obviously the new Space Marine Codex that came out, last year or last edition. They're trying to envelop as much as possible. So Black Templars are now with the founding chapters. So, but thank you very much for your question, Crystal Bell. Feel free to leave more in the future. That was a great question. Sergeant Harker says, so Jay, I wanted to ask something about War Machine quickly. Why does it seem that the prices are completely random for some units? I completely agree. A unit of 10 Winter Guard riflemen for the Khador faction, which I love the look of, gotta dig that Soviet look, costs $50 US for 10 plastic grunts. Okay, that's a bit much for me, but buying the Berserker Warjack is only $30. I have no idea why this is. Do you know? No, I don't know. Guys, it could be just depending on cost of materials and the amount of models you get in a box. But I found the same thing. Whenever I play War Machine, I love doing jacks because jacks were so cheap to build your list with, so much easier to paint, and I do find that interesting that it costs so much more. But I guess it's probably costs associated with building the squads and the materials associated with the making of the models. They both are great, and I can... My other question is about the Wyvern and Hydra. They both are great, and I could take, in theory, 9 Wyverns in a normal list. That's true. Or 9 Hydras, yeah. Or 3 of each, and a squad of Leman Russes. But to start, would you say that the Wyvern is the better deal? I would, for points costs, and it also depends on your local meta. But I actually would say Wyvern is better. If your local meta is anything like mine, I would go with Wyverns over Hydras, for sure. At least 1 squad of 3, maybe even 2 squads of 3 and then a squad of Hydras. That'd be a good combination. The Storm Shard Mortar is an amazing weapon, I agree. But I really like having the anti-air gun to start. That's what I'm saying. Because if your local meta is huge on flyers, which a lot of the ones I've been to are, Wyvern. Yeah. But, yeah. So thank you very much for your comment. I agree. If your local meta is anything like mine, I go Wyverns. Squad of 3 at least. 2 squads of 3 to be safe. And just blow the crap out of any anti-air that comes your way. Mr. Brightside says, hey Jay, after a number of years working in academia, I decided in March to change career and start a new unit course. Cool. This meant I had a long, boring summer ahead of me as I waited for a semester to begin. I know the feeling. Your channel has really kept me entertained, inspired, and made me realize the importance of making time for great hobbies like 40K. It has kept me so busy this whole summer. Thanks so much, Jay. Thank you so much, Mr. Brightside. I really appreciate that comment. It really does mean a lot that people are enjoying my work. Thank you so much. And I know the feeling of switching careers and leaving academia. Oh, I know that feeling too well. Oh, Mr. Brightside, P.S. The ads, Bat Reps, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'm not going to address it because your PS is about the ads. But I was wondering about that because, again, it's obviously up to the content creator's choice. But I don't want to make money off angering you guys. Because then I'm just, what's the point? I'm making my videos to be entertainment. And I was just thinking about it. I've never actually considered putting in mid-roll ads, but lately YouTube has been really big on it. Like every one of your videos is like, put in mid-roll ads, put in mid-roll ads, put in mid-roll ads, mid-roll ads, mid-roll ads. Sometimes I'm saying mineral ads, but mid-roll ads. But yeah, I'm going to put in maybe 1 in a battle report. And then after that, just pre and post. So that you can skip pre, you don't have to watch post, and the one in the middle, yeah. Christopher Tucker. Chris Tucker, coming man. Hey Jay, number 1, I can't afford the warp, so I watch adverts, so that way I know I'm doing but for the great comfort you provide for free. So yes, in my opinion, you can have an advert in the middle of a long video if you want. No problem. I'm going to put one in the middle, as I said. And I appreciate you watching videos, and if you can't subscribe to the warp, I'm honestly not upset whatsoever. If you want to check it out, feel free. In the future, I'm talking to the other people out there. But if you can't afford it, watch my free stuff. I'm going to keep making free stuff. My goal is that through the warp, I've been able to produce more content than I ever have thought possible. This month, I've been going toe-to-toe with any other YouTuber in our niche for a number of videos. At Gen Con, the WGC were telling me that I've put out more videos in a month than all of them combined in a month. So it's just, I love this. You know, I've been putting out more videos, have an amazing time doing it, and yeah, that's what it's about. You know, and if you subscribe to the Warp, you just get to see a lot more content because I already have like 80 videos there. But if not, I appreciate every view and every subscriber that I get on my free content. You know, it's not all about making money. My dream is just to make a living off this, because then I can quit my other job and then go crazy making videos for y'all. Number 2, have you thought about doing a subscriber painting display type show where we send pics of models and you review them? I'd love to send in some minute mine for expert eyes to be cast upon. I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but thank you very much. Thanks for the GameCon blogs. I enjoyed them. Happy painting me. Thank you. Actually, a very good suggestion. I've actually been coming up with some ideas for other show ideas, and I'm thinking that that's a great idea, and I might try to do that. I might start doing a painting challenge, like a monthly painting challenge video series, and it would combine with my painting blogs. Yeah, I really got to start, you know, coming up with these and just going crazy making them. Once I'm able to eventually leave my other job, I think it will be 100% possible, and I would love to do it. And eventually I'd like to start a live show again. Live shows were great. I probably do 2 live shows a week, one earlier, one later, so I can get both time zones. Because I noticed that when I was doing live shows at Mini Wargaming, I was really huge in the like New Zealand, Australia crowd, but the North American crowd, I was really late for them, so I got some viewers for them, and then the British crowd would be asleep. Black Tom says, Jay, do you think the cavalry roads need to be updated or changed? I don't think so, personally. I like them. I like the fact that they're different from bikes. You know, I like the differentiation. I really do. I think making them the same as bikes would not make them overpowered. No. In most applying, it wouldn't make them that overpowered. After doing the Space Wolves Codex, would Thunderwolf Cavalry be overpowered with that? Possibly. Possibly. If they could get a Jinx save, that's pretty scary stuff. You know, that would be pretty scary. Would Rough Riders be more viable? That's true. That's what I'm thinking. Because the problem is, when you think of cavalry, the only ones that really jump in my head are Thunderwolf Cavalry, because they're the only viable ones. Maybe there's a couple others, but I see them as being the most viable by far. And I would love to see Rough Riders. I miss the old days of Rough Riders with 2nd edition, where people used to bring them. And everybody's doing something in the background. That's okay. I got a new dog, by the way. I'm going to make a video, I think, about him in the near future. But I just adopted a new dog. He's very cute. And the next one's about ads. So, yep, thank you so much for your comments and your feedback on ads. 118 Warhammer addressed the ads question as well. So did Christian Oliver. Daniel Cross says, I'll ask again because I don't think you answered it at the first time. Well, I'm answering now, Daniel Oliver. No, not Daniel Oliver. I just combined the names. Daniel Cross. The other guy was Christian Oliver. Daniel Cross. Daniel Cross. Who is your favorite Chaos God, both on the table and in the fluff? Nurgle. Papa Nurgle. I love him. I was always a fan of the Nurgle groups. I just loved the look of him. And back in 2nd edition, when it was the Great Unclean one, he used to be hilarious on the tabletop. I'm pretty sure there was like a rule that if anyone got close to him, they just died because he was so stinky. I always thought it was funny. To me, he's the most character, and he's just disgusting. So, to me, it's always been the Nurgle God. Yeah, it's always awesome to see him on the table. I like him. And yeah, so thank you very much for your question. My favorite god is Nurgle God, Daniel Cross. And then Brian the Red just addressed my question, and it was very good. Actually, Brian the Red, thank you very much for your comment. I have to say that as well. Thank you to other people as well. But Brian Red wrote a very in-depth response of my question about ads. I'm not going to go into it too much because it's just it just brings up the question in general. But again, he reinforces one in the middle, one in each end, pretty much. Hugh Grange once again addressed the comments. See, most of the questions today are actually responses to my question, so that's good. Headshots says, hey Jay, I have a cue for you that I hope you will Jay. I will. I'm currently working on my Menoth Judicator, and the primary colors of it are White Scar. Cool. Gene Stealer Purple and Gehenna's Gold. Okay, very regal. So instantly white, great. Gene Seer Purple is a good regal color, regal purple. So that's great for Menoth. And Gehenna's Gold, solid gold color. I like the reddish gold. You know, it's great. I'm wanting to shade some of the recesses of the white, but do not want to use non-oil or Agrax Earth shade to do it, as I feel it would be far too dark. Do you have any other suggestions? Yes, I would create your own shade. You could use oil washes, for example. There's a fantastic line. You can look at maybe like Secret Weapon washes. They have some good intermediate colors, and I would shade them gray. Create your own gray shade. Use it like almost the color of Administratum gray to shade the white. So that way it still appears shaded, but it's not at all compared to Agrax Earth shade or non-oil. So yeah, maybe create your own shade using oils. You just get an oil paint, like Weston oil paints, and some mineral spirits, and you can create your own. And I've done videos on how to do it as well. So that's what I'd recommend. If you don't want non-oil, which I can agree can be very drastic, make your own. Mm-hmm. Do you have any suggestions? If need be, I can provide you with some pictures so you can see what I'm going in order for make a proper recommendation. Thanks, and keep up the good work, Mason. Up the awesome work. Thank you. Too dark. Yep, that's my suggestion. I would definitely say either check out a couple other companies like Secret Weapon washes. They have a great range of washes, and they might have one that's a much soft. Like they have one called Soft Black. Like it's a softer one if you want to do that one. But otherwise, if you want, create your own. Because I've seen people create their own using. I typically use oil paints, but the other option is using like a glaze medium. I know several videos of By Painted. He's created his own washes using glaze mediums. So just choose the color you want your recesses to be. I'd say then like a medium, lighter tone of gray, and use that. Quiet One says, hi Jay. Looking at trying a green tie with 100 boys, do you think a single unit of this size will get hung up on terrain that will take them ages to get across the table? They can. You have to be very careful with maneuvering your green horde. I've played them in an Apocalypse game once, and they kind of got stuck some places, but the key, you just got to learn to, the key is placement, and make sure that, separate them, keep the formation going, and go between terrain as much as you can. If you have to go through terrain, minimize the amount of troops that have to go through it. Mm-hmm. Also, do you think the unit works in the assault phase, especially keeping unit coherency? It can. Multi-assault. Throw it in a variety of places, tie up a bunch of things, and it is possible. I've done it before. It wasn't in 7th edition, it was in 6th edition, but I had a great time doing it, and if you get the chance, can you do a bat rep with this formation, even Orc versus Orc, or the new Space Wolves? I'll see. I'll definitely see if I can do it. I do have 100 boys. Kind of worth trying out. Maybe I'll do that in the future. Good idea. Thank you very much for the question, Quiet One. John D. Hey Jay, don't mind the ads. Oh yeah, thank you. Yep. Thank you very much. Once again, reinforcing the ads question. Attaboy 94 says Kitos Vastaxistasi. I just butchered Finnish, I'm pretty sure. Another Finnish lesson. It means thanks for answering my question. You're welcome. In Finnish. Starting orcs with little twist on paint scheme. Going to make Smurf army. Cool. If you want to see my painted models, go to check gallery from Mini Wargaming Forum named Clan Smurfs. Cool. I will definitely go do that. So everyone go check out Clan Smurfs on the Mini Wargaming Forum. But then my next question, what do you like my first list for orcs? Warboss, Heavy Armor, Rockets, Kami Rocket, Power Claw, Attack Squid, Boss Pole, Cyborg Body. I wouldn't take a Cyborg Body. Cyborg Bodies are kind of useless these days. A 6+ Feel No Pain isn't what it used to. It used to be a 5+ Invul, much better than the 6+ Feel No Pain. The Lucky Stick, Ammo Runt, great suggestion, 5 knobs. 4 big Choppas, a Power Claw, maybe a different power, maybe one more Power Claw. I'd take 2 Power Claws. Because just in case if the first Power Claw gets killed, you need 2 Power Claws these days, especially against like Land Raiders. Because when you assault them, you're only strength 9, so you need 5 skill and 6s to pen. Kami Scorcha in a battle wagon, boarding plank, grot rigger, cannon, rocket launcher. Solid. 2x12 boys, rocket launcher, knob, big chopper, boss pole, truck, boarding plank, grot rigger. To be honest, I don't know about small squads of boys. I don't know about small squads. If you're going small squads of boys in a truck, I like that idea. I don't know if I necessarily take the rockets. If you want to save some points, remove the rockets or the knob. But, yeah, you know, it's up to you. I've been trying out various orc things. And I find that min squads, if you want to, I guess if you're not running the Costco Thraka supplement, then you're in good shape. I'm going to think about that one, that part. 2x10 Gretchen. Great, cheap troop choice. 3 Killigans, Grotzukas, 1,000 points. Solid. I like it. Other things I might include, a Big Mech custom force field. Big Mech with a custom force field would really help this list. You can either run the Big Mech behind the cans to give them an invul save. You could run him inside the battle wagon. In fact, you could put 2 Big Mechs with custom force fields. That's a lot. You can put him inside either of the battle wagon. You can put him in the battle wagon so he'd give the battle wagon an invul save, and it'll help to get your guys across the table faster. You know, I would definitely think about taking, maybe dropping 1 squad of grots. And no, that wouldn't be enough. But I would definitely think about definitely dropping the cyborg body on the war boss. Not very handy at all anymore. And I'd think about putting in a Big Mech with custom force field. Even just that, Big Mech custom force field would really help your list. But thank you very much for leaving your list, and I'm definitely interested in seeing your Smurf army. Quiet One says, hi Jay, are all your videos in the warp? Or are the public ones not in the warp area since they are public? Might seem a stupid question, but I keep looking for you for all of your stuff when logged into the warp and they don't seem to appear. That's true, because the warp is a separate YouTube channel. The only way to do paid channels, it has to be a separate channel altogether. So the warp content it's public technically, but you can't view it unless you subscribe. That's how it works. And then every one of my free videos is under my Mini Wargamer J YouTube channel. And so this channel will have all my free stuff, you know, from now on, well, including then, but yeah, this channel will have all my free stuff, and then all my stuff in the warp is under the warp channel. And you'll be able to find the videos whenever you search for videos, but you just won't be able to view them unless you subscribe to the warp. Small Mock says, hey Jay, love your vids, and you're one of the big reasons I'm going to start playing Warhammer 40k. Thank you so much, it really means a lot. However, the issue is that I want to play Imperial Guard, but many videos I watch, it seems Guard get beat down every time. That's not necessarily true. I do know what you mean. Imperial Guard, they're kind of a tough army to master, but they're definitely a competitive army. The key is just building the right list, and you gotta have some great tanks backing you up. As we discussed earlier, like, it depends on the meta of your area, and you gotta choose the correct tanks, like the Wyvern, if you need a lot of anti-air. Lehman Russes are a great choice. And a lot of the videos, it was because Imperial Guard were an older codex until they only had an update. You know, there's a late 6th edition codex, Astra Militarum now, and they were an old codex, and codex creep took a toll on them. But now, in 7th edition, vehicles are much harder to pop, and Imperial Guard, you can field by far the most vehicles of any army. So that's a great shape. I live in Vermont, so there really isn't anyone I know who plays, and as such, my fiance as well will be picking up an army to play against me to have fun with. Excellent! I guess my question is, what would be a good army to play with against that won't just overroll Imperial Guard? She seems like Eldar so far, but I fear my army won't last long. Any suggestions? Yeah, not Eldar. Eldar or Tau will outgun you in most scenarios. You can beat them, but Eldar and Tau are a very hard matchup for Imperial Guard. A very fair matchup would be Space Marines. They tend to be almost on the same plane of competitiveness, depending on the lists. Obviously, some lists are more competitive than others. If you want an army that will always put up a good challenge, maybe Tyranids will put up a good challenge, but definitely will not steamroll you. Orcs Or possibly Grey Knights. Yeah. So if you really, yeah, the ones I would say would steamroll you are Eldar and Tau, for sure. I think Space Marines, depending on what kind of list she goes with, Space Marines are a pretty good balance to Imperial Guard. And then armies that you'll have a slight advantage of over, definitely Tyranids and Orcs, Adeptus Sororitas. Dark Eldar I wouldn't recommend starting right now because I think they're going to get a new codex soon, and you just don't want to invest that much in them if they're an old codex. But that, yeah, that's basically it. I hope that answers your question. Grey Knights would actually, I think, be a good counterbalance because they have high armor and good shooting, but Meltavets will eat right through them, so it's a good balance. Andrew McCormick says, hi, Jay. Could you advise me on any good way of running Prince Iriel? The model seems too good to leave at home. Not being able to take a jet bike makes him useless, in my opinion. Yes. Is getting him across the board with a squad large enough to cause any problems is too much of a target for your opponent. That's the problem with Iriel right now. You can stick him in a vehicle, but most people will shoot that vehicle. So if you, the only way to get him in, you have to attach him to a squad. What would he be really good? Either that or run him just behind a giant horde of guys. You know, that's it. But the only way I can see running Prince Iriel these days is you have to stick him in a fire prism, and you have to, yeah, you have to get him across that board. So maybe stick him with a squad. Yeah, you got to run some target priority. Make another squad in your army that is just as scary, so your opponent has to really think about it. Like fire dragons in another vehicle. Shoot them both at your opponent. Your opponent has to choose. Fire dragons are scary if you leave them alone. So will Iriel. But that's about it. Iriel's a really tough one to run right now. If you're an Eldar player and you have a great suggestion besides what I'm saying, leave a comment in the comment section down below. That's what I'm thinking. You have to stick him in a vehicle. You have to get him across the board. Keep him maybe in cover, like hide the vehicle, turn 1, shoot around, and then get to them turn 2. You know. As a Wave Serpent is not an assault vehicle, it limits me to using Dark Eldar Raiders with witches. Hardly fun. Exactly. I'm also annoyed that he can't take a jet bike. I know, if you could take a jetpack or a jet bike, it would be amazing. And join a Corsair squad. Yeah, he'd be amazing. I would take him every time. He's a Corsair prince after all. Exactly. It doesn't make any sense fluff-wise. My friend named Andy and I, we discussed this to death, and we agree. It doesn't make sense with him. But he's such a cool HQ. Second question, could you help me with an Eldar Corsair list if I send you a list that I have? Yes, definitely. Feel free to send me the list, and I'll gladly take a look at it. Thank you, Andrew. And the last question is David Battaglia talking about the ads. So that's it. So thank you guys so much for leaving your questions on this video. Thank you so much. It really does mean a lot. And this week I'm not going to put in a question, so that way next week's video is mostly questions and not comments. Because I read every comment and every question in this video before I did this video, obviously, and I read them heavily when making decisions. Because I want to make it always a combination of what I want to do and what you want to see and what you, as I said, there's no point making more money by really angering you people. Not for me. So thank you so much for watching this Q&J, and I hope I jade your Qs. Leave more questions in the comment section down below, and I would love to comment them in the future. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for tons of more vids. I'm going to keep making vids like a crazy man, like I've been doing over the last month. Until next time, this is Jay saying, happy painting.